Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon or good evening depending on when you're watching this, and welcome back to the GrianaigCreations podcast channel. My name is Kirsty, my pronouns are they, them, and I'm coming to you from currently a sunny but stormy Scotland, so specifically Paisley, which is not too far from Glasgow. I'm recording now before 1 if the sun stays. The sun doesn't come down too far and then is just absolutely shockingly strong in this corner of the room. And 2 before the storm kicks back off again. So we did have a bit of a storm yesterday. The UK have taken after America and are naming our storm. So we had Storm Ashley yesterday and into the very early hours of this morning. Apparently it's not done, it's just taking a bit of a break, and the weather's to kick back off this afternoon, which is going to be really interesting because I have to go out for an eye test. So I may or may not change because I'm currently wearing a very flowy, billowy dress. But I have leggings on, so I will not be indecent. But yeah, welcome. This is the crochet episode for October. I really don't have too much to show this time around. I could show off my hexie cardigan, but it's technically not finished, but you never know. I'll maybe show it off anyway, because otherwise I only have 2 projects to show off. But yeah, I don't have much in the way of crochet this time around. I do want to look into having a few more crochet projects, and something I purchased might be 2 things that I've recently got or ordered may help with that. So the first one I'll show off is my big massive crochet ripple blanket. This is an Attic 24 pattern. I put a couple of rows on this maybe about like a week ago when the weather got quite chilly here. So I'm not going to pull the whole thing out, but I was I'd finished that first row of pink, this one here, and so I've done 4 rows. No, not even, because I've only gone that far with the cream. So I've done 3 and a bit rows. But this is a very, very wide blanket. This is for what's meant to be for Scott and I's king size bed. But I'm not sure if we'll even keep this one. Mostly because I've got the granny stripe one that I really, really love. But that one lives down here in our living room. So I think 3 and a bit rows was good for one evening's work. I decided to put it down and focus on other projects. But now that I have out again, I'm like, well, I don't really have very many crochet projects going on at the moment. So there's absolutely nothing kind of stopping me from working on this more. Apart from the fact the weather did heat up again. Typical Scotland, it got cold and then the weather's just like, fool you, we're gonna just knock it up a few notches again, and it'll be too hot for working on such a large blanket. But I am working on that with kind of leftover or random balls of iron weight yarn, and the hook isn't sat at the top where I put it. So I think maybe it's fallen out of the bag, but I think I'm working with it on a 5mm needle. And again, I'm just using up scraps now. I would say I've got, so let's pick this back up again. So I'm basically aiming for a repeat this section here, from here to here. And so I'd say here, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Got 27 more rows to go, which is achievable. I could possibly, oh, there's my hook. Yep, 5mm. I could work on this week because I'm actually off on annual leave, but I really want to do some cross stitch today, and I really need to put a square in my Cozy Memories blanket, but that's a knitting project, just because that's my Monday thing. So I could maybe get this worked on this week, but I might leave it to the weekend. I've got the flat to myself this weekend because Scott's away for a stag do, and I could just use his. So we've technically got separate sofas. I've got the cuddle chair, and then Scott's got the 4-seater sofa. Sorry, I'm just watching my cat. She's lying on the ground pretty weird. You okay, puppy? Come here, Oogie. But yeah, I might stretch out on his sofa because it's got the bit where you can like put your legs out straight, and kind of like chuck this over me and maybe see if Oogie will curl up with me and we'll watch a movie. That sounds like a great plan, actually. Just hopefully the weather's a bit cooler, but if not, I've got a fan in the living room still. We've not put it away, and I can put the fan on if I'm overheating. So the next project is kind of like a fail or a tale of woe, and I decided, so basically, like, let's rewind. I started this project quite some time ago, and it was meant to be a crochet along with Deborah of Diary of a Physicist Farm Gal, and it was meant to run for the whole year, and I think that was like 2 years ago, and I did not do it. So I was making Smaug the African Flower Dragon, and I used to be really happy with this project. I hadn't done too much. Let's see, some of these are new ones, some of these are old ones, but I hadn't done too much. Like I had 2, 4, 6, I had 8 motifs, and these were only the hexagon motifs that I had actually worked. I hadn't done any of the other motifs, and you have to do quite a bit in total. I think there's like over 118 motifs for Smaug. No, that's not it. So total number required 128, and I had 8. And so I picked this up with enthusiasm. Like, I'm not kidding. I was just like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get it done. I can't wait to have my own one because they look bloody brilliant. And what also spurred me on was my mum and dad found an African flower elephant in a charity shop. Someone had donated it to a charity shop, and it was still in really good condition. If anything, it just needs a little more stuffing, my mum and dad said. And that really kind of spurred me on. It was just like let's get this done. And I picked it up and I started working on it. And so I was doing mine with DK weight yarn on a 2.5mm crochet hook. But what the pattern actually calls for is it 1.75? 1.75mm crochet hook and 4-ply yarn. And I remember I tested this with like a 3.5, and then I went down to a 3, and I wasn't happy because it was quite gappy and holy, and I was just like, that's going to cause stuffing to come out. And so I got down to a 2.5, and I think that was the lowest I could go with this DK weight yarn. And as you can see, there's still kind of like significant holes in the entire project. And working with this yarn and this crochet hook is a struggle. This is the Devante knitting yarn that you can get from the shop called The Range, and it's 100% acrylic. That's not my issue at all. It's the thickness of the yarn with how small a hook I've had to go to get the smallest hole and still be able to work with the yarn. But it's a lot of effort and it's a lot of kind of like wiggling, and the yarn is really, really splitty when it's at this, like when I'm using a hook so small. And so I've decided that Smaug the African Flower Dragon is not happening just now. Not with this yarn. This yarn is just, it was making me not want to work on it. That's how bad this project was, and that's exactly what's happened. I've decided I don't want to work on that project with this yarn, and I kind of just want to get this yarn out of the way. I don't want it for anything else that I can think of. Sorry, just reaching for my tea. And I am struggling to think of something else to work with it, because I've got 10 balls of different coloured yarn. I've got red, orange, green, yellow, a very, very, very pale lilac, a silver, there's the only other way I can say it, it's like a grey silver, baby pink, baby blue, white and black. So it's a very bizarre combination of colours. And then my joining colour was going to be this really beautiful teal colour. And so the only thing I can think of is just to do little granny squares and then join them all together and see how big it gets me. I've got, so far, out of the 2 colours that I've done, now bear in mind, I've now got like additional, I had actually worked additional motifs, and so I have used some of the yarn. So I've now got 10 hexagons, and out of the 2 colours I've fully finished, I've managed to get 7 each, and that's the hope. I'm hoping I'll be able to get 7 squares out of each of the 10 colours. And then obviously that is 70 squares. And then I'm probably going to try and get as many out of the teal as I can, but still leaving enough yarn to do the join as you go method. And I'll just see what size of blanket I get, and then I'll see if anyone wants it. Sorry, Ookie just found a fly. She's like the most laid back cat when it comes to like other little bugs. So she found a little 8-legged friend, I'm not going to say it because some people react to just the word, in our kitchen, and she just kind of put it in her mouth and then spat it out and left it for Scott and I to deal with because it was not dead. And then she didn't show any interest in the moth, and so she's just swatted a fly and it's just kind of gone back to sunbathing. I'm gonna have to get her get her trained up, be like, this is how you earn your keep. So yeah, I'm just, like I said, I'm just gonna work on squares for the time being, see how many I get, pair that up with squares from the teal, see how many of those I get, because I've got 3 balls of this, and the balls, the 10 colours, I only have 50 grams of each colour, and I'm able to get 7 so far in each colour, but the teal is 100 grams, so I should be able to get plenty out of at least 3 balls. If not, I'll work something out. I haven't fully done the math, I probably could, so if I can get, now bear in mind, I've used pretty much all the colours at least once somewhere in the motif, whether it's the really small centre or whether it's the white section for this one where it uses a lot more. The black probably uses about the same amount as the centre section. So if I have to undo some just to get a little bit more colour, then I will. But my thought process is that if I can get 7 each out of 50 grams, that means I'll get 14 out of the teal. My math ain't mathing. Because that would be 28 for 2 balls. I don't know. We can only see. I just know that I genuinely was not happy with these ones. So this was the most recent one I done. And on the camera, oh, there's the sun coming round. See, like you can see, like if you look at this top one here, like you can see the holes. Yeah, don't focus on me, focus on the motif. Like you can see the holes and where all the stuffing would just start peeking out. And I'm one of those people, I pick and I pull, and so I'd end up pulling all the stuffing out slowly but surely over time. So yeah, I just wasn't happy with it. It was such a struggle to work with that hook size and this yarn. So the squares I'm making at the moment, so I've moved on to this really gorgeous red. I am making my squares on a 3.75mm crochet hook, but I'm doing it quite loosely. And it's actually more of like a joy, not a joy to work on. It's simple, I don't really have to think about it. And it's just using up this yarn. So we'll see how we get on. I don't know what I'm going to do with these. I don't know if, depending on obviously the size of the blanket, whether I'll like put them on different parts of it. I think that would look really nice. So maybe that they'll get used up, like just sporadically put around. Because again, I only have 10. But that looks really lovely. So I think that would work quite nice. So yeah, that's literally my 2 projects. I'm just going to reach for something else I forgot about. It's not a project. So I ordered Mood. This is issue 7, which is autumn/winter. And I think this is going to be great for my inspiration as to what else I could work on. I think this shawl is gorgeous. Just wary of the sun coming in. Don't want it to be too bright. I think that's stunning. And there's a couple other things like so this is I want to say it as Wiki by Stephanie Eden. Like, how gorgeous is that top? Like, that is stunning. What else was I really wanted to do? I think this is gorgeous, and I'm not sure I can pronounce this one. It's Wasilisa. How gorgeous is that? So that is by Joe Kebbleman, and I'm pretty sure that is Mosaic Crochet. So I've just said something there about it being about Wasilisa went into the woods to ask Baba Yaga, a ferocious old witch who eats children for a light. Interesting that it's related to Baba Yaga. I also love this one, and it's called Moth Lantern. Let's see if I can get the light to work in my favour here. Isn't that stunning? Look at that texture. Geek! Like, that texture at the top of the yoke is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And that is by Simone Francis. There's just so much goodness in all of Moorit's magazines. So yeah, I'm hoping this will be the motivation I need to start moving out of my comfort zone. I'm realizing a lot of the projects I do with crochet are all very simple. I'm not really testing my skills. So I still have all of these granny squares for the, it's by Barocco. Okay, squeeze the pattern out. The Ariana cardigan. So I still have to put all this together. That'll be the join as you go method. So maybe I'll do that today. I don't know. I've got my eye exam at 1. So we'll see how that goes. I don't think Scott and I have plans for the afternoon. So he's off on annual leave as well. But he's got to work 3 hours this morning. And the other thing I'm waiting to arrive, ever so patiently, Maddie is not helping, is the Sirdar gingerbread blanket cowl. So my work do this kind of like points system where if you get recognition by a manager or somebody, that they can assign you points that you can then take onto a website and you can purchase things with these points. And so I've let mine accrue for a while and build up. And I recently got assigned 100 points for something. And I went on and I was just like, okay, let's see what I can get. And I purchased the knit blockers, like the rows of them, which I think will be great for like garments and stuff, because otherwise I only have single pins, and that means that things kind of like accidentally picot at the edges. And so by having this kit, I can now kind of have straighter lines. So these are not new, these have been out for a while, and this cost me like 100 points, 120 points, something like that. But when I checked, because everything comes from John Lewis when it comes to like arts and crafts supplies, when I checked John Lewis, it was 20 quid. So that's pretty cool that I only had to use like 100 points or whatever. And then I also got the West Yorkshire Spinners Nutcracker. This one's got the sparkle in it, so that's really cool. And then I got the gingerbread cowl, so it's going to come with all the yarn. I'm assuming it's going to tell me how to get the pattern, and I know week 1 has already been and gone, so I'm really hoping that it will get delivered this week. And because I'm on annual leave, everything goes to my work computer. So any emails to say I've got a delivery or to expect something is all going to my work computer. And I'm not turning that on. I am off for a week. I am not turning even to check my emails, because I know there'll be work emails that I'll see and I'll just, no, it's not happening. So it's just going to be a nice pleasant surprise. Literally, it's just going to be a nice pleasant surprise, because when this arrived, Scott answered the door and he actually said to the mailman, "We're not expecting anything, I don't think that's for us." But it quite clearly had my name on it. But we weren't expecting anything. Like, yes, I knew I'd ordered this, but this arrived on Saturday and I logged off on Friday at 5 p.m. and I had no email to say to expect a delivery. So we weren't expecting anything. And so that also makes me think I'm not going to get an email, even if I was online right now for work. There's nothing to say I'd get an email to say the next one's coming out. So yeah, I really hope that gets delivered this week. I wasn't going to get the gingerbread cow because it's not really my aesthetic, but I don't know how long those points can sit. Like, I don't know if you have to use them within a year or whether you can let them accrue for years at a time. I would assume so, because there's some items on there that need like 10,000 points and stuff, so that's gonna take a while to build up. But I just decided to use them. I've been wanting these blockers for a while, and the gingerbread cow looks fun. We'll see if, when it comes, if I can keep up, because I'm not the best when it comes to any sort of along, whether it's crochet or knitting. But Maddie of the House of Langford is doing it as well, and that might be what I need to keep me on top of it. But I know myself well enough that I don't do well when people are like, you need to do this. If anything, I dig my heels in more, and I'm like, no, I don't. So I guess I will show off, because technically it's finished, my Hexie cardigan. I need to weave in all the ends, so bear that in mind. I could not be happier with this. So I need to try and stretch it out a little bit, just the button band, because it kind of kicks up at the bottom. But yeah, it is finished. Just needs all the ends woven in, it needs the buttons added, and then, like I say, I might have to like pin it out and stretch it. I had cast this off probably about a week ago, but I had used the same needle I had done the knitting with, but just a very, very loose bind off, but it was really pulling up at the bottom, and so I undone the bind off and went up 2 needle sizes and then cast off all over again. But because this is the crochet section, we're just going to admire this gorgeous crochet and the colour. But as a whole, I am really happy with this. I'm also glad to get another thing off my whip list, but I really like this. Like, it's just such a lovely item. It's so bright, it's so colourful, and it just makes me happy. So yeah, that's all I have for today. I might record next week. Yeah, I probably will record next week at some point, because I actually have to work on Monday. Because it's Scott and I's first wedding anniversary on the Wednesday, and he didn't tell me he had the day off, so I had to scarper and try to panic and get another day, because I've used all my annual leave, or I have it assigned, and so I'm working Monday to get Wednesday off. And then the following week, I'm working Monday to get the Thursday off, because I'm taking my mother-in-law to an appointment. But yeah, I'll try and record next week, because I'm going to the Hobbycraft, how is it they call it? I don't know, it's just like the Hobbycraft event, that's all I know it as, which is at the SECC in Glasgow. It just got very dark in this room. The clouds are moving in fast. So yeah, there's the Hobbycraft event in the SECC this Thursday, and I have been saving up separately for that, and I have no specific thing that I'm after, but I would like to maybe get like a sweater's quantity of something. There's normally a stall there called Black Sheep Wools, and they normally have like full bags of yarn just chucked in a pile at a discounted rate. So maybe hoping to get something from there, but I don't really need any yarn. It's just more like the quantity of certain yarns that might take my fancy. So we'll see. So if I get anything at that, I might show it off on the next video. But yeah, I think for now I'm going to go tidy up. I've made a little bit of a mess for recording. I'll edit this, get it up, and then, like I say, I've got an eye test at 1 o'clock, so that leaves me an hour and a half. But actually more like an hour, because I have to drive down, find parking. So I've got an hour to chill. So if I pick up my cross stitch, I'm definitely going to have to set an alarm, because no doubt time will escape me and I'll panic and have to rush down to the opticians. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I have blathered on a little bit, but I really appreciate you coming and watching my podcast. Hopefully next time I will have more crochet to show off. I'll maybe have started something from the Mood It magazine, but for now, please do stay safe, and I will catch you on the next video. Bye everyone.